by the Beatles, of course, or more appropriately by John Lennon, I suppose. This is a really beautiful song, and it's got some really basic chords in it, and it's got a couple of chords, a few chords that are real buggers. Okay, so let's talk about it first and foremost and break it down. You can play this finger style with your fingers. And you can also play it with hybrid picking. I'll talk about both ways to play it in case you like the hybrid style because the strings are a little bit brighter. So anyway, here we go. So the very first chord that we have is a standard C shape, but with your pinky on the 3rd fret on the 1st E string, okay? It's still a C chord, but it's just got that extra octave in there. So the first thing you want to do is pull the bass note on the A string with your thumb, simultaneously pulling the bottom string, the 1st E string, with what I choose as my 2nd finger. So you kind of pull those two together by pulling your fingers together claw-like. You don't want to pull away from the guitar. You don't want to pop the strings. You just want to pull that together like a claw effect. And then that is followed by... So I'm swinging my thumb down to the D string now. Thumb, index finger, up on the G string. So you want to get that down first and foremost. And then you want to pull the ring finger in the left hand up to the 6th string on the 3rd fret. So you're moving from here to here. And that is struck with your thumb. And then we add this. So the last two notes are the B string, plucked upward with what I like to use as my 3rd finger, of course, and then the thumb downstroke on the D string. So that's the full pattern, and that's going to be the pattern used throughout the entire song, and I will go over that again. There are a couple of anomalies in the finger picking throughout the song. Not many, I mean literally just a couple of minute things, which I chalk up to just a happy accident or whatever happened while Lennon was playing it. But this is the predominant finger picking pattern. So before you go any further, you want to get that pattern down. And as you can see, it's used throughout the chords. Now, I'll come back to the finger picking in just a second, but for those of you who want to play this hybrid picking style, I'll show you how to do that as well. So with hybrid picking, it's the exact same picking pattern. You're just employing the pick a lot more to make it happen. You're only using a finger or whatever in your right hand to grab the essential notes. The rest of it is played with the pick. So we start out the same way. The bass note is played now with the pick instead of just your thumb, but simultaneously this finger is grabbing the 1st E string. And then we pick the D string, G string, and I think going down, down, up is the best way to travel. And then of course your ring finger slips up to the 6th string as before, and that will be played with your pick as well. And then the last two notes, the B string and the D string, are played with your pick. And the best way to go there is upstroke, downstroke. So from that 6th string, so that's how you'd play this with a hybrid picking. Same picking pattern, just using your pick. It does give you a brighter sound on the steel string acoustic, but once again, Lennon did play it with his fingers. So let's talk about the chords and how the rest of the song works. So now that we know what the picking pattern is, we just want to find out what the chords are and how it all works, okay? So again, the very first chord is just exactly what we've been talking about, a C with your pinky on the 3rd fret on the 1st string, the 1st E string. And I'm moving to an A minor now, but you're maintaining that third fret on the first string, okay? The picking pattern is exactly the same. You're not rotating a bass note, but it's still the same. And then we slip into an E minor, and again, still maintaining that G note, the third fret on the first string. So we slip into an E minor chord, and I think the best way to play that is with your first two fingers. And as you can see, we play the E minor twice. Come back and repeat, C, A minor, E minor, and then we're going to go to a G, and that G will include the third fret on the B string as opposed to the old school way, okay? Okay, so same picking pattern on the G, and that can be a little bit weird, you know, because we're used to hitting those bass notes when we pick. So even though it's that full four-finger G, you do start with the A string. In other words, the picking pattern never changes regardless of the chord, at least up to this point. So on that second go around, so the best way to get this tune into your head is to break it down into sections, okay? Break it down into slices. So when John is singing the verses, like half of what I say is meaningless, the chord progression we just played is what he's using. Right? So we've got C, A minor, E minor twice, C, A minor seventh actually, E minor, and then G. That serves the verses, and then he moves into what we can call the choruses. And so forth and so on. Okay, so the chords in the second section, the chorus, the B section, are C again, and then A minor seventh with the pinky still there, and then we move to a G minor seventh chord, okay? And a G minor seventh is barred at the third fret from the capo, of course, across all six strings with your index finger placed on the fifth fret on the A string. Same picking pattern, right? And then you add your pinky to the first E string at the fifth fret. And these bar chords can be a little bit rough, so if you're handy with your bar chords, it shouldn't be a problem, but there's a couple of really rough spots in here. Then we move up a whole step to an A7. We're barring across the fifth fret, all six strings, of course. Your second finger is on the sixth fret, again, the sixth fret from the capo, of course. And then your ring finger is at the seventh fret on the A string. And you play that chord twice. So between those two, okay, so we've got C, A minor, G minor seventh, add the pinky, and then A7. And then we get to what I think is the roughest part of the song to play. And I know a lot of players have a heck of a time with this, even with the capo on the guitar. But we've got an F7th chord, barred at the first fret, and the pinky is on the first E string again at the third fret, right? And that's not too bad, but you're going to find that D string can get a little bit plunky, especially when you play the whole chord progression and you try to land this. It can get a little funky on you. Start hearing a little plunk there, and just fight with it. Play it as best that you can. So we've got the F7 again with the pinky at the 3rd fret on the 1st string. And then what we do is the middle finger comes out, making it an F minor 7th essentially, and then your pinky slides up to the 4th fret. That's a pretty awkward thing to play, even just to play the chords sweeping across them. It can be pretty difficult to nail that, especially finger style, because you're going to hear each of those notes individually. You're even going to hear a little plunkiness on the recording. I'm not kidding. It's a really awkward thing to play. So for this B section, or the chorus, we've got, again, C, A minor 7th, and then G minor 7th, A7, and then the scary part. And then the turnaround is start another verse. And so forth and so on, and you play into another chorus as well. And go through all of that again. And then you play the turnaround again at the end of the 2nd chorus. And then we move into the bridge, which I think is one of the most interesting parts in the song harmonically. We've got a B minor chord, but we're barring across all 6 strings. So we're grabbing the F sharp on the 6th string on the top, but the picking pattern is the same. So let's get into that section with some detail. We've got the B minor, as I mentioned, of course, with the F sharp in the bass, and the finger picking is exactly the same as we've been doing. And then we switch back to that C chord, always with the pinky at the bottom. So we have and then we move to the A minor, or the A minor 7th again. Same picking pattern. And then the pinky shifts down to the 2nd fret, so we're pulling it to your left. So now we have and then we move to an E minor 7th, okay? So the best way to play this is use your 2 middle fingers to form the E minor chord and place your pinky on the 3rd fret on the B string. And that string is going to descend chromatically. 3, 2, 1, open. Now this is the only time in the song where the finger picking kind of gets messed with just a little bit. The pattern is the same, but instead of playing off of the 1st E string, you're playing off of the 2nd string, the B string. So as you can see, outside of that, the pattern is exactly the same. So instead of it being, it's off of the B string again. And then this finger, just like with the A minor, descends to the 2nd fret. And then finally to the 1st fret, and you have to catch that with your index finger. And then open. Back to a chorus. And then, you just cycle around with the verses and the choruses accordingly, which you can hear from the recording. And then all you've got left to deal with is the ending. So what he does at the end, you've got C, A minor, and then he floats back and forth between the E minor and the C. So it's E minor, C, E minor, C, and then E minor, G, and he ends it with a C major 7th chord, which is played with your second finger on the 3rd fret on the 6th string, and your ring finger is also at the 3rd fret, but on the A string just below it, and then your index finger is on the 2nd fret on the D string, and you just sweep across all 6 strings. Very cool and lush ending. So there you go, Julia from the Beatles. I hope you enjoyed it. And again, you can play it with hybrid picking if you want to. Either way sounds nice, but I think the fingers are a little bit warmer. See ya.